Hey, good morning, everybody. Wow, after a long weekend of me chilling out off of Facebook, spending quality time with my husband, and then kind of playing with the matrix, eating the bad food, pretending that I didn't have any protocol that I was out there, and pretending that nobody knows me and everything, which is pretty easy because I'm in a very, quiet town. No one really messes with me unless I don't know. Yeah, no one really messes with me. So it was interesting yesterday. And here's the thing. I ate like meat. I think I ate pork. I ate seafood. I ate hamburgers. I ate, good morning, Paul. I ate French fries. I didn't drink any alcohol because I wasn't going to mess with that. Hey, Don, I will not ever mess with alcohol because when I purge the alcohol out, I get major yeast infections. So I won't play the alcohol game. However, I will go and eat really, really bad food occasionally. And this weekend, I really wanted to experiment to see what my body was going to do to me while I was, playing with the matrix. Because it's all chemistry, right? I mean, everything is chemistry. When you put different elements together, they create some kind of, outcome, like an explosion or different behaviors. Hey, Tanya. And so I noticed my behavior a little bit with my husband. I was a little more aggressive. He got that. He's like, oh my God, you're off of Facebook. You need to get back on Facebook again because holy crap, I'm like, well, it's okay because this is a good thing. It's a good thing that we're seeing my behavior, that I'm away from Facebook and I'm back in the matrix. So yesterday, before I even, took my juice, which I'm going to do again today, right? I was aggressive, but it wasn't a bad aggressive. Because remember, you guys, and I'm sure I had parasites from the meat that I ate, right? So those of you who are on the protocol, going through your healing symptoms and all that stuff, right? You're going to be aggressive relative to what your focus is. So parasites can not only, cause wrath and so much, deep-seated anger and lack of patience in a person that is, I guess, wanting to tear you down. And that's the interesting thing is no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, that wrath and that anger and that passion, whatever it is, will be filtered through your thought processes because that's the parasites talking. Because I noticed I had a few parasites being purged out of me when I was taking my drink. Okay? A few. And I saw them on my finger. And you guys know how I figure it's like stick my finger in my butt and I see it, take a look like, oh my God. As well as a look in look in my toilet. So I saw these little black, little tiny brown worms. And it reminded me of when you guys saw the candida, right? Those little balls of candida with all these little black string-like things or brown string-like things that are attached to it and they're in clumps. Mine weren't in clumps. It was spread around. So yeah, parasites change your behavior. And yesterday was a huge case in point because when I finally did my waterfalls, I drank like a thing like this, all right? And I purged, like majorly purged. And it all came out. It wasn't like I was purging for, hours and hours. It was like one or two major intervals, and that was it. It wasn't a continuous. So my body got rid of whatever it is that I exposed myself to this last weekend. And yes, I had pork too. I was at a barbecue. This guy goes to Walmart, right? And he's awesome. He created a great feast for us. And I appreciate that because people work hard and they want to show their love and however they want to manifest it, that's fine. And he made some, these little cheese and pork burgers, okay? And there was chicken and I had like a hamburger when I went to the Erie Pub Cafe or whatever that's called. So, and I hadn't seen those type of parasites in a while because I haven't really been eating hamburger or pork at all. So the fact that I saw those little parasites after a long weekend of crap, and I had popcorn with so much butter too. That's why I had that zit, because my body was getting rid of all of that crap, right? So imagine if you guys aren't doing the protocol and you're eating all this crap, it's just accumulating in your system. It's staying stuck in your system and causing all these chemical reactions and behaviors and mutations. So just imagine those that are still in the matrix, not at all countering these forces. You can imagine how angry and full of dementia someone that is like 80 or 85 years old, if they get all of that chemical stuff in their body over time, and it causes aging, right? So, but I just want to let you know that no matter what side of the spectrum you fall with my protocol, and you are parasitic, you will be filtering your behaviors through the parasites. And you could hate me and be parasitic, or you can love me and hate the naysayers and be parasitic. Because that's exactly what I was yesterday. But I'm not going to apologize for the way I behaved yesterday, because we have to find and strike a balance somewhere. Okay? We can't be so nice and not want to ruffle anybody's feathers because, oh gosh, we don't want to upset somebody's homeostasis because, God forbid, we don't have the right. Yes, we do have the right. They will upset our homeostasis. Anyone that doesn't believe in my stuff will go and upset your homeostasis. What will they do? They will go and message you. They will go and attack you. They will go and screenshot and then talk smack. That's what the naysayers will do to us. So they have no problem upsetting our homeostasis. Not saying I want to sink to anyone's level, no, because I will never, ever talk smack and say that you're stupid or you're a CUNT or see you next Tuesday, right? I will never say, go, F off and die. No, I will never say that, because that's not how to be constructive. That's working from a very lower, baser instinct, where there is no intellect behind that. It's all just spewing, very low education type of nonsense, right? We, as people on the protocol, can be very intelligent in how we upset somebody else's homeostasis. It means that we rise above, so we can still message people. But I mean, when you do too many unsolicited messages, then Facebook gets all pissy and says, hey, you shouldn't be messaging people that you don't know, right? So then what do? You go onto your people. I mean, I have 4,000 friends, 4,700 friends. And so many of them are selling CBD oil. So many of them are selling holistic supplements. You get on there and you just talk intelligently and don't even care if they block you, because you know what? You leave something like a word of advice or some kind of intellectual comment that may grab somebody's attention if they're in the right space. You never know who you're going to reach. And even though that page owner may block you because they're not ready to hear that information, somebody on their Facebook will be ready to hear it and will act upon it. And that's all you can do is drop seeds. So yesterday I was upsetting homeostasis, and I did get into a message back and forth battle. Not battle, but it was this lady's, I tagged somebody yesterday in that transmission about, selling essential oils. And they've been in my group for many, 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 many months, right? And they even were talking to me through Facebook. We were back and forth, and I was talking to her and hoping that, at least I've been looking at her page, for the last 4 or 5 months, and all I see is just, essential oils and supplements. And so that's what spurred my whole diatribe yesterday, was because I'm like, hey, the protocol. You have some capacity to understand, because I know you're not stupid. And she still yet sells essential oils topically. She doesn't say internally, but it's all topical. And lately I've been saying and talking about anything that you're using antibiotic topically is going to drive the infection and anything else back into your body. And so, so she recognized the tag. I saw her come through, when I was talking, and I go like, okay, And then she messaged me. She's like, well, I don't understand why you're messaging me, or why you're not messaging, why you're tagging me and stuff and calling me out. So I really love your passion. You're so amazing, so great. And I'm like rolling my eyes because I know that perspective where the person doesn't want to say, hey, I know I'm not endorsing you. I know I'm not talking about anything about your protocol. And I'm not looking for endorsement. I'm just looking for someone to integrate my protocol, whether it's just cabbage, water, and salt, lactose prevented, which I've seen people do, where they integrate my protocol, but they don't say it's Jillian's protocol, but they integrate it with their protocol, who may be, also promoting ginseng. Okay, I'm not going to really have too much of an issue about it, so I don't really care, right? As long as I have cabbage, water, and salt somewhere in the background. But no, she's like, no, here's the thing. This is not a one-size-fits-all, not everybody is prepared to do this. Okay, I get it. I know that. But you don't even offer it as a possibility. You don't even have to say my name. But I've been watching her Facebook, and she doesn't even offer it as a possibility to say, hey, this is, and here's the thing, it's not even about offering it as a possibility. If you're going to have a following, if you're going to have people that are going to, that you care about, allegedly, wouldn't it be incumbent upon you to teach them about cabbage, water, and salt, which is basically sauerkraut, right? Which is not sauerkraut, but my protocol is the closest thing to sauerkraut that anybody would recognize. You don't have to take it massive amounts. You can start off with a little tiny cup and see how it goes, okay? And she's like, well, I don't, and then I was talking about something with her vodka and something else and essential oil. She's like, well, they're not taking it internally. And I'm like, no, and when you put it topically, you're still driving and feeding infection and feeding candida. So that stuff is horrible. Why not promote my protocol? And she's like, well, no one size fits all. And I'm afraid, I'm afraid of the backlash. I don't want to make waves. So when you've been in my group and you're in the holistic world, because your intention is to help people, and she's not even charging anybody, right? She's not even charging anybody. It's not like she has a business, or maybe she does, I don't know, right? But when you're in the alleged healthcare field and your whole premise is to help people, and you've been in my group, the big 60,000 person group. So you've seen all the testimonies come through, like left and right. And yeah, you've seen me get attacked. But you know what? I've overcame those attacks. Look, I'm still here. I'm still speaking. No one has shoved me in a corner and silenced me, right? I have a book out. It's legitimized by PubMed and by all the evidence they've done on their own research in their separate laboratories. So it's like I have so much support for anyone that has been part of my landscape for the last 2 years. And then she goes and says, well, I don't want to make waves, and it's easier to just, give people what they want versus what they actually need. Thank you, Jessica. Yes. And so I'm just like, that's such a cop-out. You sold out. You took the easy way out. You're capitalizing on ignorance, and you won't take a stand. And I guess you don't have any teaching ability. No morals, no teaching ability, and you're not willing to take a stand for your fellow man. Because everything that I have out there is a support for anyone that's in the health and wellness field. You can't argue with science. I mean, yeah, I guess you can, because I guess anybody who is anybody can say, hey, the sky isn't blue, the sky is freaking black. And they will defend the sky as black till they die, because that's their intention. Their intention is not to understand. But what got me really, really upset and very passionate through my parasites that I was purging, right, was the fact that this person has been in my group. And I'm not mad at everybody that's doing this, because everybody knows. But the people that know this, the people that are so close to me that know this, have experienced all of the craziness and understand that there's a reason why there's craziness around this, because it actually works. And yet they're still selling and promoting neuropeptides and essential oils internally or externally. They're still promoting all of the holistic crap that's out there, knowing that it's violating the laws of the immune system. And so that's why I was so incensed yesterday through all of my parasites that I was purging. So this is a real good lesson for those of you who really want to understand how food can alter your behavior, but it's relative to what your intentions are. So right now, there's a lot of very parasitic, uneducated, ignorant people out there that refuse to read anything except for Facebook and memes, and then, the latest article coming through, CNN or Fox. There are those type of people. So you can't really help those type of people because their whole, reality is based upon 2-minute sound bites and then feeding frenzy on ganging up on somebody, right? That's their whole reality. That's the baser instincts that we deal with. Those types of people who can't think deeper than, I don't know, than a shallow grave, I guess. That's the only analogy I can think of right now. And then there's those of you, okay, that are dealing with parasites still, but you know what's going on. You have the knowledge. Yeah, you're still going to be, passionate. You're still going to be dealing with your healing symptoms, but you get it. And you are aware of your parasites because, someone that understands my protocol can be just as parasitic and still very, stuck in the looping and defend me and play that I will go attack a naysayer type of thing in a not so very tactful way. And it would be, we could call it good, yeah, but it's still parasitic. So now we have to rise above that, still have the passion, take that passion and the parasites that we're still purging, take that energy and start being intellectual and speaking from wisdom. And that means asking the good questions. When someone's promoting all of these dead doctors, not someone that allegedly was killed by Big Pharma, which I don't believe. That, I think, is a whole scam in of itself, the whole dead doctors thing, right? People die all the time, especially in the Matrix, because they die of just stuff that happens, with the medical community and the holistic community, right? But they're promoting like Dr. Sebi and some other doctors like, Gerson, and they're all aging. And you're like, hey, why? I mean, I've asked questions to somebody, why are we following someone that is actively aging or has died from natural causes, right? Why are we following these type of people? So we can ask very poignant questions to get a point across. We can be very intellectual in how we comment on someone's page. And so, yeah, yesterday I was attacking also the vaxxed, movie community, because I'm tired of watching these people who jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, I care about people, don't get a vaccine, but completely ignore your immune system. And then peddle all of your pills, powders, supplements, hormone injections, all of that. So I was just fed up with the people who are talking out of both sides of their mouth and that know my information, but yet still are so focused on don't get a vaccine, but say nothing about reinforcing your immune system in a very strategic way. I see people coming through right now that know about my information, know about Jilly Juice, know about how amazing it is because you've been in my group for a while, you've seen my own changes, yet you won't even talk about my protocol or even cabbage water and salt, how it could actually reinforce the immune system so you don't have to go and take a vaccine. Because no matter what, the vaccine industry has a place. Their intentions are good in a way because they're taking pathogens and they're trying to circumvent the immune system, yes, but they're trying to manipulate your adaptive immune system so that way when you get exposed to that flu bug, it may not hit you as hard. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm trying to figure out, is what their, what their thought process is behind that, especially if they don't know about nutrition. So it's like, okay, you as a anti-vax, activist, what are you doing to help your friends and family reinforce their immune system? Or are you going to stand on that little bandwagon platform and preach about don't get vaccines, but don't even teach anybody about their immune system? I mean, that's what I see, is where I see people are only half-assed into helping their people. They're more into, let's get on this whole activist train and really do nothing to help the friends and family figure out they don't need to have a vaccine, but if you did, don't worry about it. If you survive them, here's a way to reinforce your immune system and purge out those mutations. Oh no, they don't want to touch jelly juice because it's so negative and so upsets the apple cart. But it's so much easier to get on a platform without any substance behind it. So yes, yesterday I was on a roll. The parasites that I had in my body that I was releasing were doing a number and calling people out, not taking the bullshit that's out there. So yeah, I'm going to be, exposing the doublespeak that's out there, because come on, we already got this far. Why stop now? What are you afraid of? I mean, what are you afraid of? Okay, so already you being an anti-vax person, you're already getting flack from the pro-vaxxers, or already turning people into CPS, or attacking your account, or screenshotting your stuff and talking smack about you. It's no different. You've already been primed for this next level of attacks, because I am now going beyond these little political platforms of Democrat, Republican, or patriot versus non-patriot, or vax versus anti-vax. No, I'm beyond that bullshit of divide and conquer, because that's what it is. When you're so focused on an activist position of being anti-vax but do nothing to teach people, then you are lost in the distraction. You're taking part in the contrived mind control, because you're ignoring what really is important, and that is the internal balance, the elements, the way to reinforce your immune system effectively, not turning to hormone injections like Dr. Meehan, who jumped on the vax bandwagon, not turning to all these supplements like Dr. Tenpenny has in her background, not listening to these chiropractors that say, oh, I'm anti-vax, and you see in the background they have a shit ton of freaking products that they want to sell to you. So yeah, I call out those that speak a great game but have no substance behind their actions. So if you're going to speak that game of being an activist against anti-vax, you better have a reason why, and not because, oh yeah, you're going to die, because that's bullshit. Not everybody dies from vaccines. If you've already been exposed to that pathogen, you're not going to really react. That's why there's some kids. That's why there's two kids that get the same vaccine, and one will have a reaction and the other one won't. Because that kid that didn't have a reaction was already exposed to that pathogen. But yes, there are now future triggers, but you know what? If you survive the vaccines, then you can take the jelly juice, purge out the foreign objects, and you will never have to experience those future triggers, because you just took out those extra antigen that your body took in that cocktail of vaccines. So that's why I'm like, these people with all bark, right, Ellen, and no bite, it's being inauthentic. And that's what I see, and I'm making that correlation to these health professionals, or said health professionals, nutritionists, who are too afraid to even talk about cabbage water and salt. They want to say cabbage water and salt. I'm not saying endorse jelly juice. I don't even know if you bought the book or not, but I'm not saying endorse jelly juice and be on my bandwagon. Just talk about cabbage water and salt. It's been around for freaking ever. Liquefied sauerkraut, if that makes you feel any better, okay? It's like, come on, this isn't a far reach for those that have already been doing this for a while and seen the results. Oh, but no, take the easy way out. I'd rather just, stay in the matrix, kill people, and know that, I didn't make any waves, because that's my claim to fame, and I'll just age in the matrix and die and really make no difference in anyone's life, and just take the easy way out. So yeah, I get kind of pissed. And then the ones that are also like onto these activist stuff and not even mentioning cabbage, water, and salt and saying, hey, if you do get a vaccine, no problem. I have yet to see someone that say that it's anti-vaccine. Hey, if you do get a vaccine, no problem. Because you know what? Cabbage, water, and salt, when you reinforce your immune system in an aggressive manner, those vaccines are not going to make any difference to you. I have yet to see an anti-vax person say this. No, they're so into judgment, which I know I'm coming off that way too, but this is what I'm pointing out. And they won't educate the people that are on the fence trying to figure out when they're being told from both sides, oh my God, there's these deadly viruses and diseases, you got to get these vaccines because you might die, which could potentially be true. Relative to your immune system, you could die from the vaccine or die from the sickness, no matter what. But most people out there, if they're not a baby getting 1,000 injections at once, will survive their vaccines. But they'll be severely mutated too down the road. But they won't see that until years later and will never make that connection. So now you as an activist need to educate instead of just sitting on your little platform, your little high horse or whatever you call that, your soapbox, and spew crap when you could actually be educating, take that energy and direct it in a very effective, strategic manner. Because right now you're just wasting your energy on people that don't give a shit, because they already have the medical community explaining to them, and you can't even explain the laws of the immune system. You can't even compete with the medical community because you don't have any knowledge that you're willing to impart. You say, oh yeah, just look at the inserts. People look at the inserts all the time. They still get the vaccines. They survive. They move on with their life. And then you lose your credibility. So the whole thing of look at the inserts is really a bunch of BS too. I got all my vaccines, right? I got even military vaccines. And yeah, months later, I got sick, but I never made that connection. I think intuitively I knew that vaccines weren't good, but I wasn't like totally on that bandwagon of, oh my God, anti-vax, not until I started doing the conspiracy theory stuff. And then that's where things kind of went, woo, went way out of control. But it was good that it went way out of control because it got me to a point of center at some point, right? When the pendulum swings the other way, eventually you come back to center and you find a way to straddle both worlds. And you're welcome, Jessica. So yeah, so yesterday was interesting watching. It's an interesting dynamic watching me deal with all of those chemicals in my body and how it impacts my mannerisms, my thought process. And it didn't make me depressed. It didn't make me feel like I was hormonal, because I ate a hamburger that probably had hormones in it, but I didn't feel like I was going through any hormone type of fluctuations. But I was very passionate yesterday, and I also was releasing parasites from the weekend. So yeah. So today, I want to talk about like athletes, because right now in the matrix, athletes are living a very shortened lifespan and they're aging so rapidly. And a lot of these, high profile athletes like Jillian Michaels, Jack LaLanne, who's dead. Who's the other guy? Gosh, he's the gay one. I know who he is. How did I escape his name? Give me 1 second. Oh, it's in my gallery. Okay. Gosh. I have him on the tip of my tongue. Screenshot. Oh, Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons, I think he's dead too. Or he's aged, one of the two. So these athletes out there, they're actually addicted to the endorphins. Well, yeah, Jenner too, but no, it's Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons, super gay. Bob Barber, yeah, all of these, right? And they're, people that are athletes on my protocol, that's great. Give your body a chance to recover from all the damage, right? Because if you're an athlete on my protocol, you're going to undermine any healing progress. Now, I know some people can't stop, okay, and I think right now, I think Kevin is doing some kind of like, interval training and stuff. And he's saying that his recovery time from the damage from lifting weights and all of that is much shorter than if was somebody that was doing, was not on the protocol in the matrix, doing all those crazy exercises and stuff. But let's say you're not on my protocol and you're out there in the matrix doing the athlete stuff. You are destroying your body. And you're also addicted to the endorphins that the body gives off when it goes into that special place of when you're running and doing whatever, right? And I've watched some major athletes, some people who are selling their exercise regimes on my Facebook. And they've tried the protocol. They couldn't get past some of the healing symptoms because they're dealing with viruses in their body that they don't want to actually confront because it is uncomfortable. And if you're so used to being comfortable and keeping things at bay, then, you're going to stop. And then you're going to go back to your old lifestyle because it was comfortable. And so I'm watching these people age day by day. Every single sweat that they drip, every single exercise regime that they do is taking years off their life. And then guess what? It shows in the face, if not the body. Because over time, when you work out, it really doesn't look good. I mean, look at these weightlifters out there over time. It's like it doesn't look natural. It looks sickly. And so now, I mean, like with the Olympics, what they do physical education in class, they're teaching you, oh yeah, you need to run, you need to, get your heart rate up, and get the endorphins and expand your lungs and all this stuff, which sounds great. But look at this, and they're using that for like health reasons, right? As well as weight loss remedies. And I've had people on my protocol, as well as myself, that didn't need to do any exercise at all. And guess what? I'm as healthy as a horse. I don't need to run around the block. Now, if I want to, sculpt my body in a specific way, maybe, firm up a few muscles. I mean, I don't weight lift. I don't do any kind of, arm lifting or, weightlifting, but my muscles are there. I just by natural movements of picking stuff up or bending down to go pick something up or walking my dog, which is all natural movements. I don't force myself to do these things, right? It keeps my body going. My heart rate when I walk around the block. Like I've done that where I would, I was walking up and down a hill at a friend's house, right? And I'm like, whoo, it's been a while, right? And yeah, I was a little bit out of breath for a minute, but then guess what? It got easier. My recovery time to get to the next level of adaptation was quick. It wasn't like I was laid out going like, oh God, I can't move for the next 3 days, right? I mean, you guys have seen it when you guys have gone and exercised after a while being never exercising, right? And then you go off and you go onto the treadmill or you go do, a hike somewhere and you're at home recovering for days because your muscles are so sore. Guess what? Your muscles are trying to heal. That's why you get sore if you haven't exercised. And then when you exercise for a long time, right? And that's your life, then you get addicted to the endorphins. Then you can't stop. And I've seen drug addicts, okay, go from being a drug addict where it's like meth, coke, pot, whatever, right? And they switch over to exercise. So they trade one addiction for another. And then it's like, oh, and then they're actively aging and their body is breaking down, but that's okay because I got exercise behind me. And then exercise is being used to shame people. Because, oh, you don't exercise, it means that, you're lazy and you're not really motivated and all this. And that's what, and it really, exercise kills people. When you're not actively regenerating faster than you're degrading, exercise will kill you because it's breaking down your body. It really is. It breaks your body down. That's why people are sore when they haven't exercised in a while and they try to turn to it and then their body's like, what the hell are you doing to me? It's trying to recover. Right, Gabrielle? So it's, so I don't join a gym. I won't join a gym. I won't join any exercise regimes that are out there. Okay. All of that is trendy California shit. I mean, I remember, learning calisthenics in junior high and high school, and the gym teacher passed away actually about maybe 10 years ago in my junior high class. He passed away. Is that where I want to end up? Teaching kids how to kill themselves and not telling them how to regenerate faster than they're degrading? So school right now is a major brainwashing to have you be only viable for a very small window of time, maybe about 20 to 30 years relative to your background. Some people have less. And so all of these athletes, like, that we see at football, the Olympics, tennis matches, I don't know, World Cup, all of these things. Yeah, it's great. I think it's wonderful. I mean, I played soccer too. It was a great way to release, negative and stressful energy, right? But then there's a reason why that energy is there. There's something going on with children that have turned to sports so they don't freaking kill somebody, right? So that's a major red flag anyways. But also too, if you're going to take part in sports, then you better know how to regenerate your body faster than you're destroying it. And that's what the physical education department has failed to teach the children. They're basically taking advantage of whatever battery life that you have, and they don't teach you how to regenerate your battery life. So the more active you are, the more, athletic you are, the shorter the lifespan you are, and the faster you're going to age. I see people all the time. And it's like, and some people, I know people that have a few missing organs, and they're mostly pescatarian, fruitarian, with a few bad habits here and there, right? Starbucks coffee and maybe a few alcohol here and there in special occasions, right? And they're, almost 80 or so, but their skin is crepey. They're on a string of drugs right now, like, prescription drugs to deal with the missing organs. And you don't know when that person's battery life is going to give out. That's what's wrong right now with the way our society is that fact is they teach you all of these ways to destroy yourself, but call it something healthy like athletics or, diets or whatever, right? And then when you get towards the end of your life, you're not going to know if you're going to stroke out and be half paralyzed where you got to be in a nursing home and get your ass wiped by some of this and give a shit about you. Or if you're going to die in your sleep peacefully like, Cinderella or whoever, or Sleeping Beauty, right? There's no way to know that. And why the hell would you want to gamble that? Oh, I'm sure anything government recommendations are horrible. Yeah. So that's right now what's going on in the Matrix is that when you get towards the end, after you retire, and some people will live longer in their retirement, and others are going to ramp up what they couldn't do, like ramp up their exercise, ramp up all of whatever it is that was told to them they needed to do more, but they couldn't because they were working. They're just going to, shorten their lifespan. And then one day something's going to happen. They won't even expect it. And there's been many red flags, getting flus, getting colds, getting migraines, all of these sicknesses that may crop up and then disappear are major red flags for all of you. And then now, you don't even have to be like 80. Nowadays, you could be like 50. And you have some kind of, major issue that come up that you won't even know how to deal with. And you're half paralyzed and half this, or you stroked out here, That's what's going on right now in the Matrix with the amount of elements that are being introduced that are not being neutralized. Whether it's vaccines or prescription drugs or holistic supplements, people are now rolling the dice with their bodies. They are. Because they don't understand alignable elements. They don't understand the laws of the human body or the laws of the periodic tables or nutrition. Oh, yes, Ellen, government does. Government does encourage early expiration. But guess who gets the Social Security when both parties have died? The husband and the wife. Oh, the government does. All of that all that money that you paid into Social Security is going into the coffers, and then when you die young, oh, it's not going to the kids. No, it's going back to the government. So imagine if you lived longer or lived for 300 years, you would be drawing Social Security for the rest of your life and enjoying your life on the government dime. So anyone on my protocol, that's what you have to look forward to. But you also have to look forward to answering questions. Why is it that you look like you're 30 and you were born in 1974 and you're like, 2080? What the hell? Right? So that's what I have to look forward to, is that when I am 100 years old in the Matrix and I still look the same, how am I going to explain this? Well, luckily, I'm the founder of Jilly Juice, who can reverse the aging process. So right there will be, a vindication right there. So right now, yeah, it's right now my stuff is being ridiculed. Everyone's going like, oh, she's crazy. The cabbage dream. What is it? The cabbage drink dream. Okay, that's fine. You probably won't live long enough to see me not age, right? But that's fine. You can make fun as you are dealing with all of your health issues. And I'm looking at your Facebook, and you have friends that are completely obese. Your whole focus is on crazy television. You let the television tell you what to do and dictate your thoughts. You're dealing with your own health issues because you are obese and you have family that's obese. Yeah, okay, but my cabbage dream, great. Yeah, well, you should be so lucky to have this cabbage dream. You should be so lucky that you even came across my stuff, and it was on Wendy Williams. I spammed Wendy Williams. So, of course, a young lady who happened to be African-American was just like, oh, is this the cabbage dream, girl? You should count your blessings. You came across my stuff. Now you have no choice but to access my information or reject it, and you've made an educated choice. And nobody can, and yes, educated because you have the ability to read the stuff and comprehend it or not. So now you're faced with a choice and you choose not to read it. That's still educated because you're choosing not to read and learn. Okay. So you can't blame anyone for your situation in life. So anyways, so the whole thing with athletes, no, athletes are nobody to be looking up to. Absolutely not. Just because you can run a mile in 4 minutes doesn't make you better than anybody else. It means that you have conditioned your body to do something that it's not really supposed to do, but the body is going to get back at you later on. We put so much onus and emphasis on these athletes, and we really shouldn't. The Olympics is a total oh my God, it's a total Illuminati. First of all, it's an Illuminati, type of ritual, for one. And number two, do you want to end up like these athletes, these Olympic athletes who are severely aging? Look at Mary Lee Retton. Go find a picture of her currently. Mary Lee Retton is aging rapidly. Well, look at Bruce Jenner. Turned into something I don't even know. Okay, no. Revering athletes is nothing to be proud of, especially football, especially basketball, especially softball or baseball. No, it's in my opinion, which I know doesn't mean much. Revering athletes and the whole football scene and all of those scenes does contribute to alcohol and bad food and keeping people in a divide and conquer type of mentality. So, and it does, it does excite all the parasites, because parasites need that energy to then, band together and be hive-minded, because that's what crowds do, right? Oh, I'm sure they're doing weird things under those stadiums. I bet. So, yeah, I remember back in 2012, when the opening ceremonies of the London Olympics, and it was the Summer Olympics, and they were just, some of those little vignettes that they were doing was just like, it was disturbing. When you're having this big, huge demon over this hospital scene of rows of beds with children on them, with this huge demon overlooking them. That's a little disturbing. So no matter what you believe in, those opening ceremonies types of things was very, very evil looking. It wasn't joy, joy, joy. No, it was very dark, much like Disney. It's very dark. The whole good and evil thing. And then other, the other vignettes they have during those opening ceremonies. I mean, there was a lot of symbolism that someone that understands symbolism and MK Ultra and mind control, that is somehow, that has studied that, would get, and those that don't get it would probably still scratch your head going like, what is the meaning of this thing with the hospital beds and that demon evil looking dude, So yeah, look up the London opening ceremonies of 2012, because that was like very telling of what they were rolling out, with the vaccines, with all the different, crazy virus scares. So anyways, so that's my little diatribe on the whole athletes and then my other stuff. But I just wanted to say hi to you guys. Yes, okay, Dawn. And you guys, if you haven't bought my book, just buy the book. Buy it for your friends and family. And wake somebody up. Whether or not they read or not, doesn't matter. You gave them the option, 1995. Especially your loved ones. Because, we definitely need to wake our friends and families up. Give them the option. No, it's not comfortable. Healing yourself at the cellular level. But it's far more comfortable than dying and not knowing how you're going to die in the matrix. Because at any given moment, the way our society is, and you don't know what's in your body until it actually triggers, you could potentially be having an event that you may not be able to survive. And that's right now in the matrix. Everybody in the matrix is rolling the dice. Everybody is. Because you have no idea what they put in the vaccines. You have no idea what they put in your prescription drugs. You have no idea. And if they know that you're in some kind of job that you need, yeah, they'll prolong life for a minute, right? And try to help balance out the elements by giving you prescription drugs to manage certain things, right? But eventually, the body is going to give out by all of that manipulation. So anyone in the matrix right now, they're rolling the dice. Like seriously, rolling the dice. So now you must take control. And now you have the control. And so do I. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and drink my drink. And we'll see what happens. More waterfalls. And this is work. This is a lot of work. Okay. But I'll be damned if I'm going to allow those little parasites I was exposed to take over my body in a negative way. I'll be damned. So this is how I'm going to control where, okay, because the holidays are coming up, you guys. There's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of that, right? And we know there's some really good food around the holidays. And so we got to have a countering, balancing force to allow us to say, okay, we'll take part in these social occasions because some of the food is really good, but we got to knock out those elements that are going to mutate us. Because my weekend, this last weekend, did mutate my body. Because the fact that I was cold yesterday when I drank, and I've done the waterfalls prior to this weekend, and I didn't have that cold feeling, right? And I think Kevin is going to write something about that in his book. But yeah, so that chilly feeling is all of your antibodies being created and going after those offending toxins and purging everything out. So the fact that yesterday I was cold told me that I was really introducing to my body major elements that were negative forces, because it reminded me of when I first started doing waterfalls and I was cold and chilly, and this was prior to Dr. Phil, and I was shivering, having to put on a sweater. So yesterday was the first time I felt chilly in a long time after waterfalling, which told me that I was really, really playing Matrix. Okay. So today we'll see how it is that I feel, right? Because I did purge out a lot yesterday, and it was very short, very short. It wasn't like it was drawn out for 3 or 4 hours. Some of you will be doing, if you're drinking a whole bunch of my recipe, you will be on the toilet for 3 or 4 hours because you have so much poop in you and so much damage in you that your body has to go through. And sometimes, even drinking the amount that I drank, it's not enough. You need to drink more because you're so backed up, you're so mutated, the body is now utilizing everything, and then they're taking everything that they've fixed and drawn from, like all the poisons they drew from specific systems, and they're taking it through your digestive system out your butt. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. And all this stuff here, woo! I gotta add some water to this. Hold on. Wow. So I'm a bit calmer today. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stir this so I can get it down easier. And when your body takes over and has you drink without stopping, yes, the day is young, Ellen. You know your body needs this. You know your body wants this. You know your body is saying, okay, I'm taking over now. I'm making you drink all this stuff. So, the day is young. This stuff is so thick. Done. What you explained to your mom is lactofermentation breaks the cabbage and the kale down to a pre-digested state. So that way you have access to those nutrients that your body doesn't have access to because it can't break it down because it's malfunctioned. That's the reason why this is so revolutionary, is because we're taking a vegetable that we all know is highly nutritious and densely nutritious, and we're breaking it down so the body can absorb it. And then the salt is the energizing force. It's what gives the energy to the nutrients so that way the body can use it and repair the damage. So it's understanding what the juice does, okay? And how to explain it intelligently, which is an art, right? It's almost like a mantra. When you lacto ferment using salt, it breaks down to a pre-digested state. Not using sugar. I know that when I was on an interview with Amelia yesterday, some of her trolls were saying, well, does it have alcohol in it? No, because sugar, when you ferment sugar and yeast and all that, it creates alcohol. That's why there's no kombucha or vinegars. All right, so vinegar, when you ferment vinegar, it creates, acetic acid, and then it turns into ethanol. Bad for you. All vinegar, bad, bad, bad. I mean, it tastes good on small doses, yes, but vinegar is bad. Kombucha, apple cider vinegar, all of that fermented fruit, no, 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 no. It's this lacto-fermented using the salt brine is the best. But it's not going to taste like what we're used to when we've been raised on sweet fruit, sweet, sweet, sweet. So we're changing our own taste buds, changing the biochemistry in our body. So yeah. And it takes time to learn how to talk about the protocol. But you say it enough times, it'll roll off your tongue very easily. And I say it a lot, so it's very easy for me to say it, right? All right. Well, I'm going to, go do stuff. I always say I'm going to go do stuff, but I'm going to do stuff. So yeah, those of you who are new, get my book. Those of you who, whenever you can, whenever you get paid, whenever you have a bunch of money, just get the book, give it out to your friends and family. Yeah, because this is the gift of life. This has the science and everything in it. Because I'm wondering, if I didn't have the science in my book, would Lulu have approved the content evaluation of this? That's what I'm wondering, is how I was able to get past their content evaluation. And I'm thinking, considering all of the flack that's out there, right? I'm thinking it's the fact that I actually have the science behind all this is what gave them the green light. Because you can't argue with heterotropic ossification as new bone growth. You can't argue with that. That's what they cut off bone spurs. That's what bone spurs are, is new bone growth when someone's trying to fit into a prosthesis. So, I mean, yeah, you can't argue with science. Everything has been already proven in these laboratories all over the world, from China all the way to over here. So that's what I'm thinking, is that, the science that I have behind all this gave them the green light to say, hey, you know what? Yeah. They still have their disclaimers in here, of course, but I don't imagine someone would be able to say what I'm saying without something substantiated in some way and have it be okayed by the publisher. I mean, yeah. Ooh, I'm cold. Okay, so my body is still recovering. So I'm going to go do some waterfalls. You guys have a good one. But yeah, I'm cold today. Time for me to do some waterfalls. Talk to you later. Bye.